Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 21st of March, 2023, guys. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff, basically. But before we do that, as always, we need to have a quick read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. And this material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. So I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, so I hope you had a good read. But yeah, guys, before we jump into the charts, as always, just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us, guys. So, yeah, we do offer different trading conditions, which I think could be suitable for you. So yeah, check us out here on easymarkets.com. You can always drop us a message and we will be very happy to help you out. Now, guys, jumping into the charts, the first one here I want to pick up here is the Australian index. So yesterday, as you know, the indices did recover nicely, and of course what I said to you last week as well was that in a way going all the way up to the Fed meeting, maybe, you know, like after the strong declines that we had, maybe there will be a bit of breathing space kicking in here, and you know, like we could see a bit of a retracement in some indices, and so far we're getting that. Now yesterday I talked about the ASX 200, and basically I said that look, it seems like we're forming a nice little falling wedge here, which according to all the TA rules tends to break to the upside, but we need a confirmation break first. Now we got that break. As you can see here, I said that my downside scenario will be from this area, from that 6,917. We got that move, and now we traveled back up because we failed to stay below this hurdle, and instead we pushed higher. We tested the upper side of the falling wedge, and there we go. That's the result we got. So basically now the question is, what can we expect further? Now at this point, to be honest, I am leaning a little bit more towards the upside because we got break here. That's great. However, I do understand that we're going into it will be another crazy week like the previous two. So in general, the whole March is just insane. I mean, however, if you're on the right side of the market, then you're probably loving it. So yeah, the volatility is just it has increased significantly, and I think it might stay here for a little bit more. Now, from the technical perspective, ASX 200 broke the upper side of the falling wedge. We are looking at some higher levels right now here, as long as we stay somewhere above the upper side of that falling wedge. If we start drifting back inside here, well, still my downside scenario, and this is where I'll probably get rid of the upper side, that my downside scenario still could come on a break of this hurdle, that 6,917, because as you can see, yes, we had some false breakouts here, but eventually still that level held nicely here, and that's why I would like to consider some downside only if we do drop below this hurdle and we stay below that hurdle. If we're gonna get another false breakout, that's not good for me. So I mean, yeah, this is where I'm gonna remain a little bit on the neutral side. However, from the shorter term perspective, right now, yes, the fact that we are trying to push higher, that's great. Maybe a bit of a further push north could be ideal. But again, I am cautious around here, around this highlighted territory right there, because again, that 7,100 zone is near the 200-day EMA, and don't forget that overall we're still below the 200, below all of the EMAs in general on our daily chart. So in other words, something like this could still be possible. And as my title says, today banking stabilizes slightly, but for how long? So basically, yes, the positivity that you're seeing here in ASX 200 right now is the fact that the banks managed to kind of stabilize a little bit. There are some news coming out from the US that, you know, the deposits will get extra, consumer deposits, retail deposits will get extra protection and so on. And of course, the from Europe, the whole saga with the Credit Suisse, that, you know, it's kind of taken over by UBS. So all that is kind of, yeah, bringing that, you know, positivity a little bit back into the market. And look, perfect timing, I would say, you know, just before the Fed. So just give a little bit of breathing space, you know, before kind of maybe another decline or so. And in general, with the Fed coming out tomorrow, look, we do have the expectation right now for, again, for the 25 basis point increase. Just because, again, the market stabilized, and yeah, if yesterday when I was saying to you it was almost kind of 50-50, now it's kind of back to the bigger side on the for the 25 basis point increase. So we're currently sitting at around 77.5 against the 22.5 on the Fed watch tool. But again, let's see how that's going to play out, how today's day is going to play out, because again, if somehow we continue to push a little bit higher, then the Fed might say, hey, you know, the economy is kind of adjusting, and let's stick to our plan and continue with the interest rate rises. Now, I doubt that they're gonna stop increasing, but again, let's not, you know, try to I don't have a crystal ball, so let's see what's going to happen, and then we're going to kind of go from there. Now, jumping into Nasdaq, so jumping into US. So as you can see here, yesterday, yes, we had a bit of a correction here, but hey, all in line with the idea that I talked about, and basically, I said to you, like, look, we could see a bit of a retracement here, and we did get that retracement. So now it seems like we could be forming a possible bullish flag here. But for that, I need to see a push of that 12,792 territory somewhere around here, which acted as a good area of resistance back here in on 14th of February, and also recently, should I say last week, where the index found some resistance. Yes, it did pierce through it a little bit, but in general, it did provide good resistance. So if we do clear it again, I will go towards that 12,950 territory, or even the 13,000 mark. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, very quickly on that one. So again, yesterday I talked about this one, and I said that keep your eyes on this highlighted zone, because again, it's quite an important support level, and you can see why. So yesterday I said that if we do drop and stay below that 31,740 territory, somewhere around here, then yes, I'll go lower. But we didn't stay, and instead we rebounded. So this just proves that this area is quite an important one to watch. So if you're looking for some lower levels, guys, I mean, for the bears, I think that it's not done. They're not done yet, because again, we're still below this downside line taken from the high of the 14th of February. Now, I do understand that the Nasdaq right now is kind of on, you know, is pushing a little bit higher, but again, it's technology at the moment. Everybody's kind of fearing the financial stocks, and that's why Dow and the S&P are kind of a little bit on the, you know, on the weaker side. And but again, if somehow, let's say, Dow and if the financials start dragging the rest of the economy down, then well, as it was in the past, of course. Then, Nasdaq, yes, as much as it could look positive, it would probably drop back down. But for the Nasdaq, look, I'm waiting for maybe a drop somewhere below this 12,333 territory, and then we could take it from there. So yeah, and with Dow, again, I'm not really giving up on the downside yet, but if we start breaking this downside line and pushing about somewhere above that 32,000 well, actually, yeah, 32,687, or let's round it up here a little bit to 700, then yes, I will get a little bit more excited with the upside. The German index, DAX. With this one, this is the futures here, the German DAX 40 futures. You might have a slightly different pricing on the cash index. But look, I'm gonna stick to this one for now because this is what I'm picking up on. And look, for me right now here, if I'm judging from what I see at this point, look, yesterday, beautiful retracement. Look, I mean, we tested the 14,681 territory again. That's, by the way, the highest point of December of last year. So if you're looking for some lower levels, well, I would say until we get at least a push somewhere back below the 14,850 territory right here, marked by the inside swing low here of the 17th of March, I'm not really getting way too excited with the downside, and as well, to be honest, I need to see a drop somewhere below this 100-day EMA. You could keep an eye on that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, but guys, because again, this has been playing out nicely, so it could still work out well as here, but I would say at this point, we are seeing a move back above all of the EMA. So that means that there is a good chance we could see some upside here. But if we do clear that 15,315 territory right here, guys, that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more buyers. And yes, a forthcoming higher high would be confirmed, and we could go a little bit further north towards that 15,500 zone, which I've mentioned before, or even a little bit higher. So keep that in mind. Now the dollar index. So look, everything's so far working out, and to be honest, it worked out in general because my target was this 103.05 territory. We managed to reach that. Great, perfect. Let's see what's gonna happen next. Now for next, I am keeping an eye on this 103 territory. If we do drop below it, I'm going to go lower, and I'm going to aim for that 102.39 zone right here near this lower side of the falling wedge, because don't forget that we are still in the falling wedge here, and according to all the TA rules, these patterns tend to break to the upside. However, a confirmation break of the upper side of the wedge is needed. Now, look, previously I talked about this 104.25 territory, but to be honest, at this point, I will just wait for a clear break through the upper side of the falling wedge here, and then I'll get a little bit more excited with the upside. I'll aim for that 50-day EMA, then 100, and then the 200-day EMA. At this point, of course, while we remain inside the pattern, there is still a good chance for this one to drift further south. So that's why don't rush into anything yet, unless we start maybe dropping again below that 103 zone. We start staying below it. If we stay below that 103 zone, then yes, I will go towards that 102.39, and then so on and so on. Now, jumping into gold. Okay, gold, guys. This one is on fire. I mean, look at this. I mean, this crazy move here we had from the kind of, in a way, the Women's Day here. Oh, and by the way, from our first session ever, from the first Daily Pitch International here on the 8th of March. This is when we launched. And yeah, from here we rallied. Look at this. I mean, this is just spectacular. From around 1809 all the way to, well, 2009. And by the way, I talked about that level yesterday. I said that, look, keep your eyes on the psychological 2000 territory, but also keep your eyes on this little hurdle, this 2009 zone, which is marked by the high of the 10th of March of last year. So we managed to reach that perfectly. We get a perfect hit, and now the question here is what's going to happen further. Well, looking at the picture here, I can say that in a way it could be forming a nice bullish flag here. We have our nice pole here, which was formed on Friday. Yeah, yesterday, yes, we had a push higher, but look at it retraced all the way back down here, not to mention below the psychological 2000 zone, but also, yep, it's stuck around here. Look, in a way, this is still working out like in idea with this idea, in line with this idea. So where I said that, hey, we might see maybe a bit more retracement here, but if it stays somewhere above that 1960 territory, somewhere above here, which is near the highest point of February, by the way, if it stays somewhere above this area, then yes, I'll still remain bullish, and I'm going to continue targeting the upside. Once it starts falling and stays below that 1960 territory, now that's where it could get a little bit more exciting, and we could start, aiming towards these lower levels. Initially, of course, targeting the 1935-37 territory. But if that gets cleared, then yes, further declines are possible. And then, of course, I'll draw my Fibonacci level. And then we'll see what can we do here. But at this point, guys, I'm still leaning a little bit more towards the upside. So let's see how that's going to play out. Now, oil, jumping into oil, guys. So the 66.12 area, because again, it's not really a specific level, but this level here, look, the low of the 20th of December of 2021. So yep, that is kind of providing very nice support. You can see that yes, we had some breakouts here, but hey, these are all false breakouts. So in a way, it's just showing us how important that level is. So just keep an eye on that one. Again, I'm still sticking to something like this, where we could see maybe a bit of retracement here again, maybe back towards that 70 territory. However, if it starts dropping below that 66.12 territory straight away, guys, and stays below it, then yes, I will go further south. I'll aim for that 62.44 zone, and then we will take it from there. The XRPUSD, guys. So Ripple, looking at Ripple, well, first of all, this is a mess, and let me just remove all the lines here. And let me just start fresh. Now, first of all, what we can see here is we're just oscillating still around these EMAs here, the 50, the 100. So I would say that's not really ideal for me here. One of the positive things here that supports the upside is the fact that we are still above this upside line, taken from the low of the 9th of November of 2022. If we do continue to trade above it, then certainly, yes, there is a good chance we could see a move higher. But at the same time, some of you might say, but hey, maybe we're forming something of a triangle pattern here. So okay, look, yes, could be the case, but either way, I mean, you could start drawing them differently this way, or maybe even capturing this peak here and trying to see something here. Look, if let's say that's the case, these are tentative lines. Again, don't put too much significance on them, and in a way, this, like I said, this could play out. Well, play out not in the way that you want it to. So that's why with the downside line here, I'm just going to remove it for now. What I'm keeping a close eye on instead are some of the key resistance barriers. So for example, this psychological 0.40 zone. So if we do clear that one, then of course we have the 200-day EMA as an obstacle. But if that is not that is just seen as a little pit stop here for the bulls, then of course further moves north could be possible towards the 0.4331, and then so on and so on. Because again, if that gets clear, then this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially we could start moving a little bit more to the upside. Now, Again, this is something that I wanted to show you as well here. So maybe, just maybe, we have ourselves a nice little rising channel. So let me just put this one on the chart. There we go. So as you can see here, so it could be the case. It could be the case that this is a nice little rising channel, but for that, I really need to see a nice, good, clear move above the 0.40 territory, at least above the 200-day EMA, and then we could get excited with the fact, you know, that we could aim for that 0.43, 31 zone, or even above that. So let's wait and see, guys. Again, let's wait and see if this is a nice rising channel, and then we will kind of take it from there. So jumping into AUDUSD, guys. So yes, okay. So look, we had the minutes coming out today from RBA, and well, the Reserve Bank of Australia said kind of that they're kind of putting on pausing the tightening cycle in April for a little bit. So you know, they're it seems like they might be just slowing down a little bit on the interest rate hikes. Again, will that be the case? I think it's all subject to, I mean, if suddenly, you know, inflation starts popping higher, much higher, you know, then yeah, the bank might intervene, say, hey, you know what, let's drop all that and let's continue with the rises. So look, at this point, I would say this way, from the technical picture, the fact that we are still balancing above the 0.6688 zone, or should I say near that area, yeah, that's great. That's kind of giving that, you know, a little bit of kind of reassurance for the bulls here, but let's not get our hopes up too much. And first of all, yes, we broke the downside line. That's great. At the same time, we're also trading above this upside support line taken from the low of the 10th of March. So in a way, even if we see a bit of a retracement here, as long as we stay somewhere above this area, yes, I will continue aiming higher. So I'm currently going to consider this scenario like a bit of a retracement, maybe, you know, a test of this upside line and then a rebound and a push back to the EMAs. But if we suddenly start drifting back down, and look, my downside scenario, as I said before, could be from around here, from around that 0.6585, but I think I will start adjusting that depending on how this is going to play out. Well, this is the thing. Depending on how we're going to play out near this upside support line, if we start breaking it, then maybe we could see a bit of a retracement here, you know, like a move towards this zone. Look, let's not rush into anything at the moment. Like I said, keep your eyes on that. The safer option for the upside right now probably could be this one. Let me just put this one on the chart. So to keep an eye on yesterday's high, the current highest point of this week, that's near the 0.6730. If we clear that one, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could aim for those EMAs. Now jumping into USDJPY, guys. So so far so good. Look, I mean, I talked about this and I said that as long as we stay below the 132.28 zone, I will aim lower. And also yesterday I mentioned this downside line taken from the high of the 8th of March, which is still in play. As long as it stays intact, we will remain bearish and we will continue targeting the downside and aiming probably somewhere towards that 129.80 zone, and closer to that, I would say. If we don't reach exactly that level, then don't kind of, you know, get way too disappointed, because that's what the market does. So I mean, it doesn't always reach kind of the you know, the area. It doesn't even doesn't always reach the exact level. It reaches the area instead. So just keep that in mind. However, for the upside, guys, now previously I talked about the EMAs here, but I think that I will lower my arrow here, and if we do push above the downside line, that's where I'm going to start considering maybe a move towards the 50-day EMA initially, because again, it might provide a bit of resistance, and then I could aim for the other EMAs. But this is what I'm going to aim for initially if we do get that break through the downside line. Now then, USDCHF, very quickly on down. Look, I talked about this one yesterday as well. Basically, I'm just wanted to quickly recap on this one because I said that, look, we might see a nice bullish flag here forming. Yesterday I said that, well, we were drifting a little bit lower, but look, we didn't move below this little support zone right here, the 0.9230. We stayed above it, and we're now pushing above the 50-day EMA, where at least we're trying to, stay above it. So if we continue to trade above it, then yes, great, we'll go higher, but I'll get more excited with the upside if we do push above the 0.9342 territory right here, and then we could take it from there. Because at the same time, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could see a push above the 100-day EMA right here. For the downside, well, actually now, I mean, I will start examining the downside if we do drop below the 0.9230 zone right here. But again, as I mentioned before, this is another area that I'm keeping an eye on, the 0.92 zone. Which is marked near the inside swing high of the 13th of March. If that gets cleared, of course, yes, this may attract a few more sellers into the game. So just, keep that in mind. USD-CAD. So of course, today we have the news coming out. So we have the Canadian numbers coming out. So the Canadian CPI figures. So currently, the expectation is for a so for the month-on-month numbers to well, it's only available, the headline number is only available, so for that one to stay the same. But for the year-on-year numbers for the headline and the core, it is expected to go lower a little bit. So let's see how that's going to come out. Again, we know that the Bank of Canada right now is on hold with all the interest rate hikes, if inflation comes out as expected or maybe below, that's in a way kind of showing that, hey, there, at the moment probably no other further rate hikes are needed. Inflation is going, is on track, it's not rising, so that's why we could see for example, this, well, we could see the slide here a little bit more, but I think that this is a little bit the problem here with this pair, because Canadian dollar kind of reacts more to oil, and at the moment we saw a bit of strength coming into oil, and that's why we're getting that that kind of strength here. So if CPI numbers come out even better, yes, it could be a momentum move. It could be a nice, good strengthening here of the Canadian dollar against the USD CAD. So basically, USD CAD dropping. And in general, from the technical perspective, what I was talking about yesterday, I said that, look, if we break through one of these trend lines, then yes, I'll start considering the next short-term directional move. In the direction of the break, of course. Yeah, so far we had that move, but look, the 1.3652 territory is providing very nice support. So if we clear that one, my next target is the 1.36 zone, which is near the 50-day EMA. For the upside, I would like to see a break of this downside line first, and then I will take it from there. Honestly, I mean, at this point, if we do break this downside line, yes, there are some levels that I'm keeping an eye on. For example, yesterday's high could be an interesting one, but hey, if this could just be maybe a resistance barrier, but we'll see how it plays out. But at the moment, at this point in time, I am leaning a little bit more towards the downside, but I need a confirmation break. Now, jumping into GBPUSD, guys. So, did we get some data right now from UK? Yeah, we got the, is that correct? We got the car registration numbers. Yeah, there we go. So, those came at a decline on a month-on-month basis. However, for the year-on-year, it's still on a rise. Okay. So basically, these indicators as well are not very good for the economy, because again, that means that people have more disposable income. They can allow themselves to buy or lease a car. Excuse me. And yeah, that kind of puts inflation a little bit higher, or can put inflation a little bit higher, and this is what, in a way, the banks, the central banks, are battling with. I mean, they're in a way they're saying, yeah, that we want to put inflation down, but that means actually that we want to lower your spending a little bit. So or you're to have to allow you to have a stronger purchasing power. So, well, fortunately, that's that's economics. But hey, look, at this point here, we saw a nice push yesterday to the upside, but that was mainly because the US dollar got weaker a little bit. We found some resistance near the 1.2270. Again, yeah, we broke it, but we're kind of oscillating around that level right now. So, what to expect next? So first of all, as I said before, that oh, my voice is going down a little bit. So as I said before, that if we stay somewhere above that 1.2114 zone, I talked about this in last week as well. I said that, hey, then yes, we could go higher because again, at the moment we are within the range. And we stayed above the midpoint of that range. And now, to be honest, I'm still targeting the upper side of it, but I need to see a nice, good, stronger push above the 1.2270 territory in order to aim for the 1.2444 zone. For the downside, I need to see a drop below all of the EMAs in order to consider a move towards the lower side of the range. Now, GBPUSD, something that I mentioned to you last week, guys, and look at this beautiful move here. So, we got a bit of a tease. We got a bit of a break here of this upside line. So, as I said before, look, this is a tentative upside line. It might work, it might not. So, at this point, I would say it was 50-50, but let's get rid of it. But the main thing what I was watching and still watching is this highlighted zone. So I said to you, if we want to go higher, a clear push through this territory is needed. And this territory is between the 1.8276 and the 1.8325 levels. So we're currently pushing, or at least tried to push already today above the highest one here. Yes, we did confirm a new high for March, but we're struggling to kind of, go higher. So I'll keep an eye on this one, but I'm cautiously bullish at this point. Yes, if we do push again above that 1.8326 territory right here, then yes, I will get more excited with the upside. I'll start aiming for that 1.86 zone or a little bit higher, and then so on and so on, guys. For the downside, well, this is where I'm going to put a new level here. This one right there, the 1.8078. If we start dropping below it, then yes, we could consider a move towards the downside here, and maybe towards the EMA. So let's keep an eye on that one. Now then, Euro against the Norwegian krone, guys. I talked about this one previously a little bit, but basically why I wanted to put, kind of put it on the chart here, because it has a nice, beautiful rally, or it's still having that one. I didn't want to say had, but it's still having that nice rally here because oil is declining. Norwegian krone really dependent. The Norwegian economy really dependent on oil exports. So yeah, that's not really working out well right now for this currency against the euro. Not that the euro is the strongest one. No, it's just kind of the weakening of the oil price, oil in general. So yeah, look, at this point, I may continue targeting the upside, especially if we do push above the current highest point of March near the 11.48 zone. This a break above it would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and then yes, we could go further north. And by further north, I mean, look at where we are. I mean, we could end up maybe traveling towards this little target here, the 11.6970 territory, approximately around there. Good potential target, but at this point, yeah, a confirmation break is still needed. Now, and the confirmation break is the current highest point of March. For the downside, now, as you see, I've drawn here this upside support line taken from the low of the 25th of August. So this kind of, in a way, medium-term upside support line taken from the low of the 25th of August of last year. So as you can see, we do have some room for some downside. We do have some kind of room here, yeah, to go for a correction, but I will consider my correction if, well, initially, if we start dropping somewhere below this hurdle, the 11.38 territory, approximately around here. Now, of course, we do have a bunch of other levels here to consider. Like, for example, this one right here. I mean, we have this upside line to consider here as well. So, but again, it's a tentative one. Don't really focus on it too much. So maybe somebody would say, hey, maybe it's this one instead. But again, if we do break the 11.38 zone, we could also break the upside line. So at this point, look, we are looking for some lower. Well, we're looking for some lower levels if we do see a drop below the below 11.38. We're looking for some higher levels if we do push and stay above the 11.48 zone right here. Now, jumping into EURGBP very quickly. So, with the EURGBP, this one is quite interesting as well because, again, we've managed to reach my target again. So the 200-day EMA. Look, as I talked about this previously last week, at the end of last week as well, that if we stay below the EMAs here, then below the 100-day EMA, then yes, I will go for that 200-day EMA. However, I'll get more comfortable with the downside if we do fall below the 0.8720 territory, somewhere around here, because the forthcoming lower low would be confirmed, and then we could start aiming for some of these levels right there, the 0.8562 or the 0.8547, and then we could take it from there. We have another target here, the 0.8646. That's the inside swing high here of the 8th of December. So that could be a nice, good target initially. But yeah, we will only aim for those levels if we do drop below the 200-day EMA and we do stay below the 0.8720 territory, somewhere around here. For the upside, now if we do get that rebound, further rebound as we're getting it right now, to be honest, I would like to see maybe a push back somewhere above the 0.8783 zone right here. And then, yes, we could consider maybe a correction back to the upside, because don't forget that while we're below this downside line, any move higher up until it could be classed as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. Some of you might say, hey, maybe this is a nice falling channel here. It could have been, but I don't think that it's right now the ideal option to consider. It's just not very kind of, it's just all over the place. So, you know, don't really focus on it too much. And finally, guys, EURUSD. So this one's so far so good, because again, what I said to you previously, that if we do push and stay above the 50-day EMA, then yes, my next target again is the 1.07450 territory, somewhere around here. And if that gets cleared, yes, I'm going to go slowly to the upside and I'm going to aim further north. But look, at the moment, I think that the pair could remain somewhere around here. And judging by how tomorrow, and I think it's gonna stay like that up until tomorrow. It's gonna be waiting for that big move tomorrow, and yeah, and that's where, you know, the excitement could come in. So at this point, I would say stay safe, be cautious, be careful. Keep an eye on this little territory here, this resistance zone. Let me just grab a line here. There we go. So this resistance territory, I mean, we have also that 1.0760 area here to keep an eye on, but in general, I'm keeping an eye on that 1.0750, around it basically. It could go a little bit higher or lower, but you know, I'm keeping my target here for now. If it gets cleared, great. We could go further north, and we could maybe travel all the way here towards this area, the 1.0930, or even above that towards the current highest point of this year. near the 1.1033, guys. But again, for that, some clearances needed, and probably it's not wrong to say that we're basically currently we're sitting in this little range here, which yeah, so far is playing out nicely. But yeah, if we do clear one of the sides, and hey, there we go. Then this is when we could start considering the next short-term directional move. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for tuning in and watching this one till the end. I really appreciate that. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my traders, at my daily pitch international for traders, guys. Yes, you can tune in at 7 o'clock GMT time. We'll pick up on some other instruments, some new ones as well. But yeah, we'll see how some of these played out overnight and today, of course. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. But I hope you'll have a safe trading day today. Have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine, guys. So thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.